Welcome to the State College of Florida Computer Labs. This lesson will be done from the Bradenton campus, Building 10, Room 204 Computer Lab, but it's relatively applicable for any of the computers. We'll be reviewing saving files in a variety of cloud and local options, as well as logging in and out of Adobe and your other programs, packaging files when trying to send them to instructors, and zipping them so that you actually can send them. A few things before I dive into that. We call this the menu up here. If you're ever needing to find something, you can look in Spotlight. You can search for apps, files, anything in Spotlight that you're looking for. This is called the dock. Not everything lives on the dock, just some of your favorite things. And this is called the desktop. So from our dock, I'll pull up this little kind of cheat sheet that gives us sort of a rundown of the different ways you can save your files. We've got a student folder that we consider local on these computers. You'll need to make a folder for your name. You can see I've done this a few times. And then you'll want to make new folders for every class and every project within that class, just to stay most organized. This is considered the student folder. Note, anything outside this folder is subject to be deleted. These are public libraries. They are relatively safe. They are not perfectly safe. So keep that in mind. Another option is a flash drive. These are very inexpensive. Here's my flash drive. You need to make sure that when you're using these that you right-click and eject them properly when you are done. These are very tiny little computers. They can become corrupt very, very easily. So keep that in mind. And do not work off of these. This is solely for saving at the end of a day and keeping a safe file. When you want to work back on a computer, drag the file out of the flash drive into your student folder, work there, and then bring it back into the flash drive when you're done. You can definitely corrupt and slow down your files if you try to work off of a file in your flash drive. So we consider those local. It's always good to save in two spots, local and cloud. Sometimes local options get lightning strikes a computer and there goes your student folder, or your flash drive gets hit by water. So things can happen to local. Cloud's another option. Creative Cloud's a great option. Up in your menu, you'll notice this little squiggly 8. For sake of time, because it takes a long time to get logged into this, I'm already logged in, but let me show you where to do that. So see this little tiny, not that intuitive icon up in the upper right. You're going to look for that. I'm already logged in, but this is where you would go and log in. At the end of the day, you need to not only eject things properly, but make sure you sign out of things. So this is where you would do that. If you ever have trouble signing out, you can check here. Sometimes if things are downloading or needing to be downloaded, it wants you to do those first and do those updates prior to letting you log out. You can also save file. You can see all of your apps. You can save files in here. You can save folders. So all of your stuff can live here as a second option. Let's go create a file and save it in our student, in our flash, as well as in this file, and then we will also hit on the Google Drive and OneDrive. So let's go into Illustrator, File Save, File New. I'm just going to make a quick test for us to use. Here it is. Now, a few things. It's untitled. This is where I can see the name of it. If I go up to File and hit Save, there's going to be a few things. First of all, do not delete anything after this dot. It's the extension type. The computer needs that to be able to read what type of file it is. If you add stuff here or delete or anything, you'll mess it up. So you want to only change the name before the dot. You also want to know where you're looking at. So you can see over here in this menu, there's a few things. This window is opening up for my local options, which happen to be my desktop student folder. Here's my name. We can call this, I like to add my name into my files because I think it could get tracked back to me if I lost it for some reason. It's also a good indicator, God forbid, if my login didn't properly log out and a student started working on this, they could see, oh, I see someone else's name. It's just a good visual indicator. Test save, we'll call it 200 because I've probably done this 200 times. Hit save. Just utilize the default most of the time. This only comes into play when you need to save an old version for some weird reason. Hit OK. Now notice if I go back out to my student folder on my desktop and I look for my name, I saved it in this original one, not the many others. Here it is. I could always get to that. Now let's go save it into my flash drive. Look over in your menu for flash drive. Same thing. Hit save. Hit OK. There it is. I like to look at things in a column. You can do a different way if that works for you, but that's just how I like to do it. Now, let's get into some of our cloud options that we've got access to. Let me close this guy and just remind you we've got Adobe Creative Cloud, Google Drive, and OneDrive. So let's go do the Creative Cloud. Save as. Down, if your window looks like this, you're in your local option. You can always click on Save Cloud Document, and then your window starts to look like this. Very similar, but not exactly the same. You can hop back to the computer option. You can hop back to the cloud option. You just have to know where you're working at. So you can save in here. Let's go pretend I'm going to save it in this. I'll hit Save. Now he lives inside my Adobe Cloud. Now something that can get a little tricky. I've got this little cloud here. I also noticed my extension is called a .aic for Adobe Illustrator Cloud now. This is great. It's not the end all be all. You won't be able to package files and send things like font files or get things like font files and link files from a cloud. You have to be in a local version. So let's hop back to our local version. We're not working on our flash drive. We'll call this 201 because it's always nice to save versions for records. We obviously didn't make any changes, but if you're making changes along the way, that can help you kind of know, how much time and effort you've put into it. Also, when working with clients, it helps everyone know how many revisions are being turned in. Hit OK. Notice I have no more cloud and I'm back to just a .ai. Let's package this and then I'll show you how to do that within your other two cloud options. So File, Package. Packaging is a way to get all of your fonts, all of your linked files. We have almost nothing happening here, but let's just pretend I don't have access to this Myriad Pro font that was utilized for this at home, where I'm going to go work on it and make it amazing. So you'd want to package. Very, very important. Always check this package location because it's going to default to wherever the last one was, and you don't know that that's the right spot. So yes, I want it there. That's fine to call it that, and I want all of these things checked. Hit package, say yes, I'm not going to steal all of our fonts. You can either show or hit OK. If you hit OK, you just have to know it's saved in the student folder and go look for it. We'll hit show. Now what we have is this folder that gives us access to this Myriad font. You'll see my AI file, this, and then you'll see kind of a funny little text file, and that's where kind of background information can live. You're not going to need to mess with that most of the time. If I had any linked files, like a Photoshop file linked into here, or a photograph, a JPEG, a PNG, anything, you'd have an additional folder that would say links, and everything would have automatically gone into there. Perfect. Now, you cannot send this folder through most emails or submissions. You must package or zip it. So right click, compress, gets a little tricky. They're going to call it zip in just a second. Here we go for our zip. Now this is the folder that you would send over when submitting things. So now let's go look at our other two options, the Google Cloud and your Google Drive and your OneDrive. So I'm logged into my Google right here. I can go File, I can go New, File upload. I can find the zipped folder. I can hit open. It's going to upload it. I hit refresh a lot to get it to showcase. Then when you're trying to share something, let's be very specific with giving editability. So we'll go pretend this is who I'm going to send it to. Make sure it's changed to editor and not just viewer or commenter when you are sending. Okay, very similar. Your SCF email will get you access. I go through it through my email to this little OneDrive. Very, very similar to your Google. Add a new, upload, find it. This is also a great way when you're working at home and working here to make sure you have every single file you need. Hit open, hit refresh, hit my files, and here it is. See, it's zipped. Now, when I want to go and send this, same thing, make sure that you are giving editing options when you are sending this so that we can actually download it and not just view a preview. When you are finished with all of those 5 different options of saving and being smart about your stuff, you can always go in. Let's do one last little thing. Grab this, dump this over into my flash drive. Go double check that it made it into my flash drive. Great. Let's eject and log out of everything now. Eject. It'll go away in a minute. While that's working, we can also go up and do a log out. Yes. There goes our flash drive. And then don't forget to log out of all of your other things, like your OneDrive and like your Google Drive. Hope that helps. When saving, just keep in mind you've got lots of different options, and to always save both a cloud and local option for yourself to be safe.